What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Knicks Celtics postgame show. Knicks unfortunately lost 110 to 123. But again, it's preseason. I said this the last postgame show. We shouldn't go too crazy and we shouldn't be too worried about it. Okay. And our three main players didn't play. Jalen Brunson didn't play, RJ didn't play, and Julius Randle didn't play. So, you can't be too worried that we lost this game without our three main players on the floor. But we did put up a fight still. It was pretty ugly the first half. But in the third quarter, the Knicks did come back and they cut their lead down to 10. The lead was pretty big at one point. I'm not sure exactly how big it did get, but it was, I would say, 20 plus points. So the Knicks did cut it to 10 in that third quarter. We'll get into it though. The bench players did put up a fight. I'm proud of them for doing that. But yeah, let's get into it. So the starters were Jericho Sims, Robinson, McBride, DiVincenzo, and Grimes. I know that's a crazy lineup. We've never seen something like that before. You basically have two centers out there, and McBride starting. Obviously, that's a big role for him to fill, being a starting point guard. But Robinson was good. He had 12 points. He was 5 for 6 from the field and 2 for 4 from his free throws, so he made 50% of them. He had 7 rebounds and he had 3 steals. That's very impressive from Robinson. He's been having a great preseason so far. The first 2 games, he was phenomenal. He looks like he's already in shape, midseason shape to start the season. He's been great so far. So another great game by him. Jericho Sims, he played 32 minutes. He played a lot this game, but he only had 2 points, and he had 10 rebounds. Okay, 3 blocks, 1 steal, and 3 assists. So a little bit of a all-around game for him, but he only put up 2 points. Um, but I'm proud of him for putting up those 3 blocks and the 1 steal. He's out there on the defensive end doing his thing. We love to see him getting up those blocks and those steals. Um, McBride played 33 minutes, so another game for him that he played a lot as well. After the last game, I'm very happy Tibbs played him almost the entire game because he shot perfect percentages last game. And I'm just really excited to continue seeing him play throughout this preseason because we don't know how much minutes he's going to get during the regular season. But he was great once again. He put up 16 points and he was 6 for 18 from the field, 2 for 8 from three. But he did have 6 assists and 4 steals. Wow, that's crazy. We know how much of a pest he is on the defensive end, though, so I'm not too surprised by that. 4 steals, we already knew that. But, his offensive game has been really stepping up lately. As we saw the previous game, he was perfect percentage from the field and 3-point line. This game as well, he shot a good percentage and put up 16 points. So I'm very happy to see him showing him more of his offensive bag. He's really putting in a fight to get a role on this team and to have a spot in the rotation. But I said this last post game show, it's really difficult to fit him in there with all the guards that we already have. DiVincenzo we already added to this offseason. I don't really see him being in the rotation as a regular player. But, if someone does go down, he will be the first one to step up and be playing. That's what I know for sure. It's unfortunate because he's playing really well, and I know it's only preseason. A lot of people don't like to give credit to guys who play well in the preseason because they say it's not real games, but he's definitely showing us his offensive abilities. So he's going to make a case to get a spot in the rotation. We'll see how that turns out though, because we know Tibbs loves McBride, um, loves him as a player, how he fights on the defensive end, and I believe he said that McBride and Sims are untouchable in trades as well. That report came out sometime in the summer, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if anything, if any rotations are changed up. But DiVincenzo started. Um, he had a good game as well. He was 3 for 10 from the 3-point line. So his 3-point shot isn't exactly there as we want it to be because we did sign him for his 3-point shooting. But he did have 15 points overall, and he was 3 for 12 from the field as well. And he shot 6 free throws, which is actually very impressive. Um, I didn't expect him to draw as much contact as he does and get to the line 6 times, but you'd love to see that from a player. When they get to the free throw line, they're able to do that because that's very helpful, especially when your shot is not falling. But again, I'm still waiting for like a big game from him, offensively at least. Want to shoot lights out, hopefully soon, maybe the next game. He has to get these percentages up. 3 for 12 from the field is not going to cut it. 3 for 10 from the 3-point line is not going to help us at all. But on the defensive end, he was a pest. I liked what I saw. He was getting out there with his active hands, and he was great on the defensive end. He had he only had 1 steal, but it feels like he was very active out there on the defensive end and contributing a lot to that side. He did have 3 rebounds as well. Grimes had a big game. This was the Quentin Grimes game. He finally showed us what he's been working on all summer. The past few preseason games, he was a little disappointing. Everyone wanted him to shoot lights out and, to shoot a lot of threes because that's what he worked on in the offseason. He's been working with JJ Redick and Penny Hardaway, I believe. So we wanted him to see what he learned from those guys. And I believe we saw a lot of JJ Redick style this game. A lot of catch and shoot, a lot of off the curl 3-pointers. And I'm really excited about that because I chose him as my breakout player for this season. I believe that he could take that offensive leap because we already know he has the defensive skills. He's been guarding the best opposing player every game last season. But this season, we want him to be better offensively, and we want him to take more shots. Last season, he would always pass the ball, and there's nothing wrong about that. But he's a shooter. He's meant to shoot it. So I'm glad he's finally taking those shots that we all want him to. Overall, he had 22 points. He was 7 for 13 from the field, and he was 7 for 12 from the 3-point line. He had 7 threes. That's crazy. In a preseason game, I don't know if anyone else is putting up 7 threes, but I loved what I saw from him. He also had 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal. This was his game, really. I'm glad he got to show out. The Celtics couldn't stop him. Even though their starters were in there, no one could stop him. And we were behind the entire game, but it's glad to see Grimes had a nice showing out. For our bench, well, I mean, the starters were the bench, but from the guys who came off the bench for this game, we have Isaiah Roby. He had 11 points in 16 minutes. He was 4 for 6 from the field and 3 for 4 from the 3-point line. I was actually very impressed by what I saw from Roby. I made a video about him a while ago when Obi Toppin got traded and the talks were that he would be the backup forward. Made a video about him. So I know his player profile, and I know that I'm not that surprised that he's putting up these numbers, 11 points in 16 minutes, and he's shooting well from the field as well as the 3-point line because that's the kind of player he is. The unfortunate part about it is that he's never been able to really showcase this to other teams because he's never had a spot in their rotation. That's really been the issue throughout his career. He's always been the 15th man, and he's never really had playing time on other teams. When he was given playing time, he would put up numbers, though, in the minutes he was given. So I'm really impressed by what I saw from Roby putting up 11 points. I think he could make a case to be that backup forward, unlike Sims, who is the backup forward right now. I think that's what Tom Thibodeau is going with, as Sims at the 4. But I believe Roby can be the 4 as well and make a case to play the 4 over Sims because he plays very similar to Obi Toppin, and I think he could play very similar to role that Obi had on this team last season behind Randall. He'll only be playing 11 to 12 minutes a night, and I don't think Roby would be upset about that at all. He's barely got a chance on other teams, so I think he'll be happy about that. if he were to be given the chance. And, just like Obi, he can shoot the 3, he can, um, he can get to the basket, so I believe that Roby can make an argument to get that spot. Very similar, can fill in Obi Toppin's role that he had last season. Isaiah Hartenstein played 23 minutes. He was 6 for 11 from the field and 1 for 3 from the three-point line. He took another 3. We saw him take a 3 the last game, and he took another one this game. I think it's really interesting to see if he'll be shooting more threes. He can shoot. Before the Knicks, he was on the Clippers, and he would shoot a lot of threes there. But we didn't see that very much last season. He wouldn't really shoot any threes, but I'm really excited to see if he could implement that back into his playing style, into his game, because that can help us as well. We need more three-point shooting. We struggled with that in the playoffs, a little bit in the regular season as well. So we need more three-point shooters, and if he can shoot, I'm all for it for him taking those shots. There's some centers that obviously can't shoot threes, but he is a center that can. I want him to be confident in his shot, and I want him to take those more often. You see him, he might be a little bit hesitant about it, obviously, because it's been a while since he's been shooting threes. He didn't really do it last season, but I definitely want him to shoot more. He had 13 points overall, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. I'm honestly really surprised about the 2 assists because it always feels like Hartenstein is passing it to everyone and always making those type of plays. He's a great passer for a big man, so I'm surprised about the 2 assists. I thought it would have been more when I was reading the box score. Let's see who else. Evan Fournier played in 22 minutes. He was 3 for 10 from the field, 1 for 4 from the three-point line, and he had 10 points overall. He was all right, but he wasn't outstanding. If you were watching the Knicks last season, hopefully all of you were, or not last season. Was it last season or the season prior that he would go crazy on the Celtics? He would have like 30, 20-point games against them. For some reason, he would always go off against them. No idea why. He would always torture the Celtics. I think some of us were maybe expecting that a little bit, for him to go off and just shoot lights out. But he was all right. He didn't go crazy like we all thought maybe he would against the Celtics. He only made 1 3-pointer too. But, you can also see against the Celtics team how much he struggled on the defensive end. A lot of people wanna make a case that he should be in the rotation. He's a great shooter, but his defensive skills are not there. He couldn't keep up with the Celtics team. So, that's a difficult situation, but defense matters. Jeffries played 22 minutes as well. He was 3 for 6 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and he had 8 points. These are guys that are deep into our bench, so it's really interesting to see them play, to see what they have in their bag. But they're not going to be playing in the regular season too often. So I'm not really taking anything away from that as much, especially because he's a shooting guard. We don't really need anyone at that position right now. The main guy I'm looking at off the bench is Isaiah Roby because our backup for position is skeptical. It's very skeptical. Ryan Arcidiacono played 15 minutes. He was 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, and didn't have any points. He had 0 points, but he did have 1 assist and 4 rebounds. We all know Ryan Arcidiacono is not. I don't even know how to put this. He's a bench guy, all right? He's a hype man. That's what I'll say. If you're expecting anything more from him in this game, sorry that he disappointed you. He's not a three-point shooter like that. or anything if you expected he was. He's Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart's hype man for this season. So we pretty much went through everyone down the list, but let's talk about the game overall. The first half, like I said, it was ugly. When I was watching this game, I literally said to myself, "What am I watching?" But of course, it's going to be ugly. I mean, look who we had starting. We had Sims, and this lineup was crazy to start. But Tibbs is resting the starters for tomorrow's game. But it was just a crazy lineup just to go against this Celtics team with Porzingis and Tatum and Drew, and our bench stood no chance. Um, and it goes to show we need Jalen Brunson, we need Julius Randle, we need RJ Barrett, we need all of them. This reminded me a little bit of, I got flashbacks from the Knicks from like 2019, 2018, 2017, watching them get blown out. It was a little sad to see it. Last season, I don't even think we ever got blown out like that. Maybe once or twice, but that rarely happened last season. So to see it happen in this game for the first time in a while, it wasn't pretty. But so in the let's see, let's look at some team stats. From the field, the Knicks shot 43% and the Celtics shot 46. I mean, of course, they were hitting their shots. These are very talented players we're dealing with, like I said, Tatum, Brown, Drew. I expect them to hit their shots, especially if they're open. The three-point percentage for the Knicks was 39%. For the Celtics, it was 44. Yeah, they were knocking down a lot of threes. Celtics had, let's see how many threes they had. They had 23 threes. That's crazy. I believe they led the league in threes, or they didn't lead the league. They were second to lead the league in threes last season, and I expect that number to go up now that they have Porzingis, their center, who is mainly going to shoot threes. I don't think you're probably gonna see him shoot more threes than he's gonna drive to the basket. How many threes did he have this game? It seemed like he had a lot. Every time he let it fly, it went in. Let me check how many threes he had. So Porzingis had 4 threes. And overall he had 20 points. 8 for 13 from the field. He's looking good. Not to go into Porzingis a little bit, or not too much, because obviously this is a Knicks post-game show, but he's looking good on the Celtics, and a lot of people are comparing to how he played to when he was on the Knicks, and I fully agree with that. It looks very similar, the two different versions of him. He looks more explosive. We didn't see that too much in this game, but I've seen highlights in his other preseason games. He looks explosive like when he was on the Knicks. So if the Celtics got that version of him, they're going to be tough. We could go through the Celtics a little bit. Just, Tatum had 28 points. He was on fire, of course, again. We didn't have anyone that could stop him. Given our bench, it was difficult out there on the defensive end. We were struggling a lot. We couldn't stop Tatum. We couldn't really stop Porzingis. Couldn't really stop Brown. So it was very difficult to stop them because their three-point shots were there. They're driving. They have everything. So they're a scary weapon. They got scary weapons too on the bench. Derek White, he started, but I believe he will be coming off the bench in the regular season. He's a very underrated player, especially on the defensive end. They got Pritchard, and Pritchard didn't have that big of a game, but he did the last time we played them. And Drew Holiday had 10 points. A little bit of a calm game, but, still a good game. So let's go back into these team stats a little bit more. The Knicks from the three-point line They only shot 19 threes. Well, not only, but 39%. So, compared to the Celtics' 44%, we need to be better. Oh, I'm just now seeing these comments. Sorry, let me go through some of them. The first one says, I need to figure out how to put the comments on the screen, guys. Sorry, I didn't see them before. First one says, how many wins do you expect this season, and who's your favorite Knick of all time? Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Ben. How many wins do I expect this season? I'm not going to give an exact number, but I believe over 50. We had 47 last season, and I believe we can hit 50, if not more. Um, this season, we have to take another leap as we did last season, and we have to hit the 50 mark. I know we can do it. We just have to keep getting better. Be consistent, but keep getting better at the same time. Let's see what else we got here. McBride is the future. He definitely is. I was very impressed by what I saw by McBride. I wish there was a way he could get minutes in the rotation because defensively, he's a pest. Offensively, we're now seeing that side. That's really impressive and that's really great. His shooting is really improved. I don't even know what he's been doing in the offseason. I haven't really been paying attention to him. I've been paying attention to Grimes and everyone else that's been showing their workouts. But whatever McBride did in this offseason, it really paid off because his shot is falling. Get Grimes 7 3-point attempts every game in the regular season. Looking at you, Brunson, Randall, and RJ. I agree. He needs more attempts. I wish I could pull up how much attempts I'm not sure how many attempts he had last season, but he needs to attempt more. And it's going to be hard because, yeah, we have a lot of ball dominant players on our team. Brunson is you know, kind of a shoot first type of point guard for us. And Randall and RJ, it's going to be hard for Grimes to get a lot of looks with those three players playing right beside him, but they have to look for him, especially when their shots are not falling and they're struggling offensively. They have to look for guys like Grimes to make the plays and make the shots. So let's see what else we got here. Brennan, hello. Did you watch the game? What are your thoughts? Keep commenting. McBride looked good. Yeah. He also said they ain't giving my guy Lil Top no run. I know he didn't play again. Um, I don't know why they're not playing him. I mean, clearly this was a blowout game, and they emptied their bench all the way. Then you had Ryan Archidiakono playing, but Jacob Toppin didn't get any minutes. Why are they holding him hostage? It went from Fournier to Jacob Toppin. I'm kidding though, but um, I would have loved to see maybe him get a few minutes at least. See what he could do. Let's go. What's up? Hello, everybody. Brandon said, I miss KP. Thought he would have came back home this offseason. Thought we should have made a move for him. Yeah, I wanted him to come back as well. I used to be a huge KP fan, and he had his best season last year. So if we should have made the move for him this past summer was the chance. It was the time to do that. Seeing that he's been improving his game and that he had his best season. Unfortunately, we didn't. A lot of people think we shouldn't have, and it's good that we didn't because he's going to be injured by January. I'm not preying on anyone's injuries. It could be true, it could be wrong, but we'll see. Hopefully, I don't want to prey on anyone's injuries. That's all. All defensive lineup of McBride, DiVincenzo, Grimes, Sims, and Mitch. Yeah, great defensive lineup. The offense, though, I don't know. I mean, McBride and Grimes offensively, they're gifted, but need some low post scoring too. Until Brown dunked their souls away. Yeah, exactly. That was grimy. Brendan said that was grimy. So this game, I understand why Tibbs didn't play the starters because they're probably going to be playing tomorrow, but I would have loved to see the Knicks starters against the Boston Celtics starters, tonight because we haven't seen it yet. The first time the Knicks played the Celtics, we played against their bench. This time they played against our bench, so we're taking turns. It would have been a good matchup though, but we'll see it opening night as well. Opening night is October 25th, 7:30 p.m. I hope you guys are ready because I'm ready. These preseason games have been too far apart. It's making me, I'm getting impatient waiting for the season to start. I don't know why it's been like this at all because we played last week and then a week later they're playing again. They need to space it out a little bit differently. They're saving it for opening day. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna see it opening day. Um, maybe they have some hidden secrets, hidden weapons going on there. We might see RJ go off on that opening night, or Brunson or Randall. But I'm surprised they didn't play just a few minutes today, at least. Maybe just one quarter, not the entire game. They might be playing the entire game tomorrow, honestly, because it's our last preseason game, I believe. We only have 4 preseason games, and I believe tomorrow's our 4th. Let's see who we're playing. We're playing the Wizards tomorrow at 7:30. All right. So the Wizards, that'll be an interesting matchup, depending on who's playing in that game for the Wizards, but I definitely see us taking the win for that game. Brandon said KP full on hates the Knicks. He played all 4 quarters. I know. It seemed like he was out there the entire game. He played a long time. Let's see how many minutes he played. He played 28 minutes overall. Tatum played 30. They're playing their starters like almost the entire game. Let's look at a little bit more team stats. I didn't get through all of them. I stopped at the 3-pointers. For free throws, let's go. Knicks shot 75%. Okay. They're 15 for 20. I definitely want that to be 100%. Said it before. Free throws are free points. And we struggled with free throws last season tremendously. I believe our percentage was 76. I have to double check on that. But I believe that's what the percentage was. So we need to get it up to at least 80 because free throws can kill us and they can be very important. Rebounds were pretty even between both teams. But let's look at the assist. Even as well. I did feel at times that the Knicks were a little bit sloppy, especially in the first half. It was very sloppy play, but it's because the guys that were playing were from our bench and from the deepest part of our bench. So they're not used to playing with each other. And the lineups that we saw, those guys aren't used to playing with each other as well. I would say it was very interesting to see Grimes and DiVincenzo play together, though, because, there's a little competition there, and they're both fighting for that shooting guard spot. So it was very interesting to see them play side by side. Let's see what else. So the largest lead that the Celtics had was 27. That's wild. They were up by 27 points. That's giving me flashbacks and PTSD to the bad years the Knicks had. Just a few years ago too, like 2019, 2018, when we would be down 20 every game. It didn't matter who we played, we would be down. um the largest so the Knicks did have a lead. The Knicks had a lead of 5 points. I don't know. It probably had to have been the first few minutes. I don't remember them ever leading this game. It wasn't pretty for the Knicks. So the Knicks are 1-2 this preseason. Some people are going to be upset by that. You know, they want us to be 3-0. But it's preseason, and these lineups have been looking crazy. The starters aren't playing the entire game. So I don't expect us to be 3-0. I don't expect us to have won every game. We could have won the last game. The game was tied, I remember, and then the starters got subbed out. So that's where we lost the game. When you put in the bench and the reserves, that's when we lost because their starters stayed in, I believe. So let's not get too upset about it. Again, preseason is meant to showcase these lineups, these different lineups, to showcase the reserves mainly. You know, the starters aren't meant to play the full game, and I'm not upset about it. Some people aren't even watching preseason games. I know a lot of Knicks fans aren't even watching this, and I don't really blame them. I just watch it because I miss Knicks basketball so much. So they're playing, I might as well watch it, even though it doesn't count. And it doesn't really mean anything because we're not seeing a lot, especially from the starters. But I know a few people who haven't watched it. They're waiting for the real games to start. It's starting soon, October 25th. Remind me when we were tanking for Zion and got RJ. Oh, man. I remember that time when we 100% thought we were getting Zion. I don't want to even get into it, though. It's too crazy to think about. That's happened to the Knicks too many times before. Yeah, no. We were supposed to get so many guys. Like, it's hard to talk about. And this basketball game actually ended 20 minutes earlier than it was supposed to. I was supposed to go live streaming at 10. The game ended at 9:45, maybe a little bit before that. So, you know, it was that type of game. It wasn't competitive. The score was never that close. Guys were just playing out there. But hopefully we never have to see a game like this in the regular season. If I ever have to see the Knicks go down 27, I might just cry because I don't want to see that. And I'm not the type of fan to turn off the TV. I know a lot of people will turn off the TV and say they're not watching anymore, but me, I have to watch it. I have to watch it through and see what happens. Think I might start wrapping it up here. It's 10:34. We've been live for 33 minutes. I appreciate the comments that I got, you know, from Ben, Nature and Sports, Brandon, of course. Thank you for all the comments. It really means a lot because I'm trying to do this more often. Go live on YouTube and Twitter. I think it's live on Twitter. Actually, let me check. I haven't even checked because I know you could get comments on there too. So let me see if there's any comments going on. Oh, so on Twitter, you have to subscribe to Premium to chat, which kind of sucks because not a lot of people have the check. They should make it free on Twitter to comment. But if you are watching on Twitter, head over to YouTube and watch because you can comment for free. That's what I like about it. I'm gonna wrap this up now. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, whoever tuned in, and if you're watching on the replay, let me know your thoughts on this game. Don't go too crazy on it because I do not want to see anyone giving me a crazy analysis of this game. There doesn't need to be one. Our bench played the entire game. You could talk about Quentin Grimes and how positive that was. Him having a great offensive game with McBride. I'd like to see that. I don't want to see any comments saying Knicks are regressing this season, or anything like that. So thank you again, and I'll catch you on the next game, which is tomorrow. So I'll see you guys after tomorrow night's game. We are playing the Wizards at 7:30 p.m. That is our last preseason game. It's been real for this preseason, but I'm sure most of you, like me, are ready to start the season. We're tired of these preseason games, these crazy lineups where we got Jericho Sims and starting, and I don't know. We want to see regular lineups. We want to see Jalen Brunson, Randall, and RJ play again. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good night.